Hey, how's it going? Steven here. So today we're talking about the Engwe Y600 electric scooter. This scooter has one of the biggest batteries in this price class at $650. So the purpose of this scooter is really to be as premium as possible and give you the most range possible in the $500 to $600 class, right? So this thing is not going to be like a competitive scooter that goes super fast or super torquey. Considering that I've tested other electric scooters also who claim to have 600 watt motors, the motors on these do feel a little bit torqueier. Definitely right off the line, if you full throttle and you're not leaning forward, you will just pull a wheelie or even fall off because the low end torque is extremely strong. But once you get to the mid-range and the high end, the torque it tapers off. So you can still feel it gently accelerate and decelerate as you adjust your throttle, but it's just not going to be super torquey as how it would feel when it's at the low end. When it comes to speed, right, there's 3 different speeds: speed 1, speed 2, and speed 3. Speed 1 has a top speed of 10 miles per hour. And what I feel like is the electric speed controller allows the scooter to go past 10 miles per hour and then realizes that it's wrong and breaks it back down. When I test other electric scooters, if the top speed is 10 miles per hour, it accelerates to 10 miles per hour and no longer accelerates. It feels like this scooter, it accelerates to 11 or 12 miles per hour and then it brakes, because I can feel that every time when I'm on speed 1. It goes past 10 miles per hour and then it brakes, and I need to brace for it to account for the changes in acceleration, right? And then come back. When you're traveling in speed 1, it's supposed to be a smooth experience, but it's not super smooth. So I think it's a characteristic of the speed controller itself, but it's not a big deal to me because I never stay in gear 1, so it doesn't really matter. In gear 2 and gear 3, this problem goes away because I think it's so fast, it doesn't really go past the high speed limit anymore. With speed 2, it goes up to 17 miles per hour. I think the torque is still pretty strong. The funny thing is, in mode 1, 2, and 3, I feel like the torque is roughly the same. The acceleration is roughly the same. It's just the top speed that's limited. Hey, what's going on? So I had to cut the part out the top speed that I originally recorded because my dumbass didn't know that there is a speed limiter on this electric scooter. So I had to go out there and test again after removing the speed limiter. The speed limiter is very easy to remove. All you have to do is to hold the left brake and then turn the scooter on. Squeeze the accelerator trigger 3 times and then it will be released. And after it's released, the top speed is now like 47 kilometers or something around 28 miles per hour. And in my test, I weighed about 180 pounds and I got 27 miles per hour-ish. So the top speed is good. It takes a while to get up to 27 miles per hour, but it gets up there. You could actually, stay on the side of the road. You're faster than most of the bicycles out there. I would say of the 600 watt motors that I reviewed, most 600 watt motors can only go up to 20 miles per hour. This 600 watt motor goes up to 27 miles per hour with a heavier dude like me. So the speed, the top speed is legit. When you look at its shocks, when you look at its shocks in the front, shocks in the back, these look like great shocks, but they're not really adjustable and they don't have a lot of travel. So these shocks, I would say, is only good for city riding, sidewalk riding, street riding, anywhere that's paved, you will feel really good about it. But this is in no way for off-road. You might as well just not have any shocks at all because these things don't have a lot of travel. When I'm jumping up and down on these, there's not a lot of travel, right? So this is a city commuter. In fact, this is designed to travel as far as possible given the price range of roughly $500 to $600. Most of the electric scooters don't have as much batteries as you would have on this. In fact, they even designed seats on it so that because you're traveling so far on this scooter, you might as well be seated to, be more comfortable. But since I'm not seated type of person, I didn't install that. I just installed the kicktail, and the kicktail kicktail is more fun for me that way. I would like to mention missing screws over here. These screws that go on the kicktail are missing, so I have to run to Home Depot to get them. 1, 2, 3, 4, including the nuts on the other side. It cost me like $1.50 to get these screws. If I were to describe the acceleration curve, I would say it feels pretty strong for the low-end torque, and then it tapers off quickly in the mid-range and the higher speed range. It doesn't get too responsive when you are traveling fast, which is totally acceptable for a single 600 watt motor. In fact, I think compared to other 600 watt motors that I have tested before, this one feels like it's the strongest, that goes the fastest. This is the best 600 watt motor I've tested, period. And it has one of the biggest batteries in its class. I think these are like the two standouts. One other thing I want to mention is the LED lights. There are some LED lights in the front and also in the back. So there's one over here and there's one over here. These are turn signals, and this one it's a rear light as well. But these are not visible at all during the day. Like during sunset hours, the sun is kind of obscured by the cloud. It gets kind of shady, right? And I cannot see the turn signals blinking. I can barely see the rear light here. The only light that you can see is the rear light on the fender after you squeeze the brake lever. That's when any of these lights are visible during the day. So I would say don't count on any of the turn signals or the rear lights to save you during the day. They're of course visible at night. When things get dark, you can of course see them again. So I think at night, if you just use these lights, they're fine. But during the day, like nobody's gonna see these lights. Front light, when I first got them, these lights are kind of pointing upwards directly straight into the sky, which is not good because you're blinding every driver that's coming in front of you. So I had to like push this and bend the front light back down. Really small issue. These lights are incredibly bright. They're pretty bright. And then they also do come with these fins on the side so that it can be properly cooled down as you're riding it. These fenders are pretty nice. They're pretty sturdy. These wheels are 10-inch wheels. They're really grippy as well. And they're knobby too. So if you go over some rough terrains, these will help give you extra grip. I do have to complain about this lever. This lever to fold and unfold the steering stalk, it is near impossible to fold and unfold this. It got to the point where when I first got it, I just cannot unfold it into the upright position. No matter how hard I tried, I even doubted myself. I had to go to the official website to check their instruction videos. And then I cross-referenced like 5 different other YouTubers who reviewed this electric scooter. Every single one of them skipped this part where it's actually unfolding because it was so incredibly hard to fold it. Now I want to unfold it for this video. And this red thing, you're supposed to kind of step on it, step down. I'm literally jumping into the middle of the air to jump on this. It doesn't move down. Like, I think it's permanently stuck in this position. And I just think if most people who get this scooter are travelers, if you're an elderly person or if you're a super younger person who don't have a lot of strength, unfolding and folding the scooter is gonna be a huge problem for you. You should probably leave it unfolded for most duration. I'm still trying to figure out how to fold this scooter back down right now. Again, it's probably a small issue for most people, but something that you should probably know. But I know I'm complaining. It sounds like I'm complaining a lot, but I really do like this scooter. I think for $550, you get the biggest battery for a scooter in this class. And I think you get the torquiest scooter in this class. And I think you get the fastest scooter in this class. And it has LEDs in the front, LEDs in the back. That's linked to your brakes, and then you get turn signals. Handlebar height is adjustable, and the handlebars are also foldable. You can fold it and put in your car if you can fold this to start with. It does have dual shocks in the front, dual shocks in the back. I think it has a lot of really seemingly premium things, but they all have like right? It has this, but this. It has this, but that. It has the shocks but you cannot adjust them. The lights, LEDs are all included, but it's not too visible during the day. It has great torque in the low end, but higher end, it's not too responsive, understandable for something in this price class. The deck is a lot wider than scooters in this class as well. Because of the large amount of batteries that's in here, it belongs in the 800 to 900 class, I would say. So if you're in the market for a budget scooter, I still definitely recommend this despite everything that's happened. Also the kickstand. The kickstand it stood too vertically, so the thing would tip over to the other side if you use the kickstand, and I had to manually bend the kickstand to have it actually lean towards the right position. Everything else on the scooter, like the touch and feel, it feels very premium. It doesn't feel plasticky like a lot of the $500 to $800 scooter does feel. Like everything here is metal. It's all metal, like the back, the kickstands, this entire construction is metal. Everything's metal except the fender. The fender is plastic, right? And everything else is really, it just feels so premium for the price that they're asking for. Are there little kinks? Are there little problems here and there? Yeah, there are problems that you can deal with. There are problems, all the problems that I mentioned are problems that I'm completely okay, that I'm happy to deal with considering how much value I'm getting out of this scooter. So you need a key to unlock the scooter. Plug in the key, turn it, and it's going to show you the amount of voltage that's left in the battery. I think this is super handy. Basically tells you how much battery you have left. And I think 51 volts, around that, it's full power. So this actually shows me that I have roughly about 50% of the battery left. So it's just super neat to look at. The second part is the power button. The power button can only be turned on after you plug in the key and turn it to the right side. So let's hold it for a little bit, and now it turns on. Great. It shows me that I'm in gear 3, and I've traveled about 7 kilometers total on the odometer, and I have about 50% battery left. Very intuitive, and this speedometer is very easily seen in direct sunlight. Very interesting choice to use the trigger. It has a little bit of a dead space. As you can see, I'm pulling right here. It doesn't really move, and then now it moves. So when I installed the brake levers, I kind of angled them downwards towards the ground, because that's just like the most natural way to squeeze the brake lever. And the brake lever is a little bit squishy. It's not as snappy as I would like it to be, but I think on a $500 scooter, it's fine. It's not like super high performance or anything, but it does feel a little bit squishy. The throttle and the accelerator, I think I mentioned in other videos too, that it is, when the motor engages in level 3, it just goes from 0 to full blast really, really quickly. It doesn't have like a minimal amount of relaxed rolling start. Once the motor engages, it engages at a very high and powerful mode, so it makes your motions quite jerky when you're traveling slow. When you're traveling maybe at like 5 to 10 miles per hour, you're trying to navigate around people. If you do hit this, once your motor engages, you will jerk backwards because of the acceleration. So this should be kind of toned down ever so slightly, but it's totally workable. I think you can either just decrease the mode to like level 2 or something if you're near a lot of people, or you should just kind of get used to how much power this trigger actually gives you. This thing, just turn it counterclockwise to unlock it. Once unlocked, this whole handlebar can come back down. This is the light button. Click it to turn off the front light, and then click it again to turn it back on. When you turn on the front lights, the rear light also to turn on. The rear lights, I mean this one and the 2 in the back. The 2 side lights, like I mentioned before, are not very bright during the day, so they're only visible at night. This is pretty bright during the day, but I would still doubt anybody would see these unless the brake lever is pulled. I wish the front LED light was on top of the handlebar so it shines downwards. This just does not give you a lot of height for the light to throw out there. It's fine, but if it were up to me, I would totally buy another light and mount it up here, just so that you can see more things. Overall, I would say the construction of this scooter is top-notch. This is one of the best scooters in the $550 class. At the time of this video, it's as low as $530. Squeaky noises coming from the tires. Maybe it's because it's new tires, but it's super squeaky at low speeds. Right, it just sounds like you're riding on a giant styrofoam. Not a big deal. Probably a little bit of lube would solve that. The acceleration at a very low end, between no motor power to the motor starts running, that is always jarring, especially at level 3. I think most people are probably going to commute at level 3, the speed 3. When it goes from just gliding to start moving forward, there's that jerk backwards because the motor is always so strong. It's no matter how lightly I pull the trigger finger, it's just when the threshold comes to start engaging the motor, there's that kind of motion. I think if you're ready for it, no behavior of the scooter, it's going to be not a problem. But if you're in a super crowded area and you want more finer control, I would probably lower the motors from a 3 down to a 2 so that it engages smoother. It's by no means a super powerful scooter, but they made it super powerful at the start, which feels a little bit annoying. I feel like they should have probably adjusted the power to more of a mid-range because these are commuters. Mid-range is probably the most important. Lower end, people probably want smoothness, and as you can also see when I'm going off-roading, if it's a very large slope, it's not going to make it. This is to be expected with 500 watt motors. Everything about this screams premium, but at $550, there's going to be a little bit of trade-offs, a little bit of kinks here and there that you need to deal with. But I think when you think about the overall value of what this scooter brings at this price level, it's perfect. It's at this price level, this is the best thing that you can get at $550, period. Like, there's nothing better around this price period. And there's nothing better around this price period when it comes to quality, motor power, and distance traveled. So yeah, let me know how you like this. So let me know what you think about this electric scooter, and I'll see you on the next one.